This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some major updates to share with you. The House will vote on the Inflation Reduction Act today, Friday. President Biden getting slack for saying that there was zero inflation. I'll let you know what the critics are saying about him and why they think he was wrong for saying it. The U.S. has officially regained all of the jobs lost during the pandemic. And as inflation eases slightly as Americans wait state stimulus checks, and I'll let you know the latest state giving out $50 and $850 checks, and I'll give you some other more important updates as well. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below. So the House to vote Friday to pass a Democrat sweeping healthcare and climate bill. So today, Nancy Pelosi said that the House will vote on it. Will it pass? Good question. So Pelosi says that the House will pass the Inflation Reduction Act Friday today, but some are saying that there could be silent holdouts, that some that may not agree with it and may put a wrench in the whole program and the whole bill being passed. So we'll see what happens with that. It is possible that it could not pass, although the Democrats do have the majority in the House. And when it comes to the Inflation Reduction Act, get rid of these, just 12% of Americans believe that the Inflation Reduction Act will reduce inflation. What are your thoughts? So 12%, that means 12 out of 100 Americans believe that. So this is from the YouGov poll, and basically it says the way it worked out is 36% believe it'll increase inflation, 12% believe it'll decrease inflation, 23% believe it will not change inflation, and 29% saying that they are not sure. But let me know, do you think the Inflation Reduction Act will reduce inflation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Meanwhile, some other news that came out, President Biden said that he says there was zero inflation in July, which is sort of true. There is some truth to that, but not everybody liked the way that he said that. The White House blasted for claiming zero inflation after latest CPI report, saying that he is lying to everyone. But I'm really curious, what are your thoughts on this? I'll give you my thoughts on this. Take a look at this video clip right here, criticizing President Biden, and I'll let you know what I think about it.
I just want to say a number: zero. Today, we received news that our economy had 0% inflation in the month of July. 0%. Here's what that means. While the price of some things went up last month, the price of other things went down by the same amount. The result, zero inflation last month. But people are still hurting, but zero inflation last month.
That was President Biden weighing in on the CPI data at the White House event yesterday. But for more on this inflation and really the administration's response, I want to bring in pollster and political strategist Frank Luntz. Frank, so you don't like this at all. You think this was a terrible, terrible mistake, it sounds like. Why?
It's because it's cynical. It is a destruction of the meaning of words. It's Orwellian at its worst. It's the kind of job that I do as a language guy, as someone who tries to find the words and phrases to connect to the American people. But as a pollster, I know how much it plays into our belief that we can't trust our elected officials and we can't trust our institutions. You know, we've been polling this issue, and the American people think that it's harder now to make it, to get by. More than 70% of Americans have trouble making ends meet. 1 out of 4 literally have trouble paying their bills at the end of the week or end of the month because of inflation. And for Joe Biden to redefine what that means and to attempt to do it for the word recession is really the thing that the American people should be angriest about. You know, I do these presentations and these discussions, and I am a proud contributor to CNBC. I seek the truth. And when the American people understand, and you've got the numbers up there, what the inflation, what it really is, right now, to put people on a plane, to have them attempt to put kids back to school, and they know how expensive it is. For him to say that the inflation rate is zero is going to be one of those issues that we remember the Biden administration for playing games with the English language.
So, Frank, though, here's the question. There is an argument to be made that when there's good news, a president is supposed to tell you about the good news. And I think arguably this was good news. I think it's hard to say it wasn't good news, at least temporarily. We don't know what, of course, is going to come this fall or what's going to come in 2023. But in an environment when it often feels like there's not a lot of good news, should the president not go out and say there's good? I mean, this is, I think, a little different than saying mission accomplished many years ago, as you know so well.
So then the inflation rate is zero? Andrew, I know you don't believe it.
I'm not arguing the inflation rate zero. I'm just what I'm questioning is it the language that he used? Is it that he should be? Should it be there any victory lap whatsoever? How would you do it if you were him?
I would say that with that inflation, has every right to say that it hasn't gotten worse this month over last month. But to say that the inflation rate is zero is the height of hypocrisy, and a president has a responsibility to tell the American people the truth. Is it a success that after month after month after month after month of inflation getting worse, it didn't get worse this month? That's acceptable. But to claim that the inflation rate is zero, to claim that we're not in a recession, is simply wrong. And you are honest.
So what are your thoughts on that? It seems like it's a game of semantics. What I think about it is that if inflation did not increase, it did not decrease, then it's 0%, right? And it's just for July. As long as it's saying zero inflation just for July, I think that is a true statement, at least according to the numbers and data. It seems like it is a true statement. But that's just my opinion. But it's 8.5% over the course of a year, which is still really high. So it's kind of a game of semantics. I think President Biden just trying to take every win that he could possibly get. The U.S. economy has officially regained all jobs lost during the pandemic. So the U.S. economy added 528 jobs in July. It's a good time to look for a new job or fight for better pay at your current one. So looks like the numbers looking pretty good with unemployment dropped to 3.5%. And I guess according to these numbers, looks like all the jobs that were lost under the pandemic are officially regained. But in terms of inflation numbers, it could be a little confusing of what's really going on, especially with President Biden saying 0%, critics saying no, that's not true. Take a look at this video clip right here explaining in full detail everything you need to know about what is actually going on. And I believe this is the truth right here.
We have good news for drivers at the pump. Gas prices have fallen for 58 days in a row. AAA is reporting the national average for gasoline is now under $4, holding at $3.99 a gallon. Couple the gas prices news with the better-than-expected numbers in July's inflation report. Is there relief on the horizon?
Let's bring in former Treasury official and Morning Joe economic analyst Steve Ratner. Steve, let's talk, first of all, about yesterday's inflation report. What do you got for us?
Well, let me try to unpack it a little bit for you, Joe, because sometimes these inflation numbers are confusing month over month, year over year, especially when you have so much going on in the economy. And so if you start with the chart on the left, that red line is what is happening month by month, so from June to July in this case. And you can see, hopefully, that the red line has gone all the way down to the zero line. In other words, there was no inflation from June to July. Why was there no inflation from June to July? You have to look at those colored bars below, and you can see that gasoline declined, as you just mentioned, very substantially, and that exactly offset the increases in other prices, and so they zeroed each other out. Without that change in gasoline prices, you would have had inflation at around a 5% rate. Still a lot better than what we've seen. Still a bit more than what we want. Now, if you look at it year over year, so this July compared to last July, you can see that prices are rising still steeply, although slightly less steeply. Last month in June, they were up 9.1%. That came down to 8.5% in July, a little bit less than people expected, and that is all good news. That is all good news. But it is important to note that even if prices didn't go up at all the rest of this year, we'd still have 6.5% inflation this year.
Now, let's talk about gas prices. I saw several people who are not fans of of Joe Biden seeming to be angry about the fact that gas prices have gone down and wanted the world to know that the only reason they went down is because demand went down. I don't know if that's the case or not. I'm just glad if a consumer, if a working American wants to get a gallon of gas, it's a lot cheaper than it was a month ago. What can you tell us about falling gas prices, even in the midst of a Ukrainian-Russian war that just keeps going?
Yeah, it is kind of un-American to be against falling gas prices, to be unhappy when gas prices fall. They have fallen for a few reasons, and most of them do have to do with the demand side. Obviously, there isn't a lot of new supply coming on. We are producing a little bit more, but that's not enough to matter. What's really happening is a couple of things. First, China is very slow at the moment, and their overall oil usage has been very uncharacteristically low, and that's had an impact on prices. And secondly, there has been demand destruction in the U.S., for example. People are driving less. They're using less gasoline. I think I saw the figure of 9% less this season than last. And the Europeans, because of the war in Ukraine, are also taking measures to cut back on their oil use, and all of that has had a very positive effect on oil prices.
Yeah, I want to go, let's see how nimble we can be here. I want to go to the third chart, falling real wages hurting sentiment. And in the third chart, we look at wages versus consumer sentiment. Take us through that chart, if you will.
Sure, we can be nimble. That is the crux of the matter to some degree. And the reason why we've had so much pessimism or unhappiness among the American public is in large part because they are falling behind. If you look at the left side of the chart, the blue line is what's happening to wage growth. And you can see that both before the pandemic, through the pandemic, and until earlier this year, the blue line was substantially above the red line, which is price increases, and therefore Americans were getting better off every month or every day, for that matter. If you look at the right side, those have flipped around. As inflation took off, wages have also gone up, but not by nearly as much as how much prices are going up. And that is the crux of the matter for most Americans. You have 6.7% wage growth and 8.5% price growth. And the other point, and then you can see the implication of that on the right in consumer sentiment, which has reached a record low. It has, for a month, and we should never make too much of a month. It does look like it bottomed out for 1 month, whether it's because of falling gas prices or the president's great successes on so many other things. I can't say, but we'll see what happens next month. But the yin and the yang of this also, and this is what the point that people don't like to always say out loud, is that to get inflation down, the rate of wage increases has to come down. Wages are obviously the biggest component of what any company does. And if you're paying out wage increases of 6.7%, you obviously are going to drive inflation way above the Fed's 2% target.
So does that make more sense to you? Do you feel like you understand a little bit more of what's actually going on? I am a fan of Steve Ratner and how he explains things in a very objective way. There's really no political spin there. But let me know your thoughts on that. Stimulus update. Inflation eases slightly as Americans await state stimulus checks. So Americans have been grappling with sky-high living costs for months. Inflation levels fell slightly in July, which combined with state stimulus aid should help. So, although inflation levels are getting lower, I guess the thing you probably care about most is what's going on with state stimulus checks. So we're seeing some states giving out stimulus checks, some states multiple stimulus checks, but it seems like half the states are not giving any stimulus checks at all. Zero. No checks at all to help out people who are struggling. So the states that are doing it, here's a new one right here. Stimulus check update. City considers $50 million in rebate for energy bills. So this is going on in San Antonio, Texas, which will consider a proposal to use $50 million of revenue from the city-owned utility to provide rebates to customers. So we're seeing little programs like that where there's rebate programs maybe for energy, utility, some rental assistance is still going on as well. General stimulus checks too. For example, we have this one right here, which is in my state of, or actually no, sorry, this is in Bradley, Illinois. Thousands of Americans can apply now for direct payments worth between $50 and $850. See the exact deadline date. So property owners in Bradley, Illinois may receive a rebate check between $50 and $800. So we're seeing this to different types of things. Yeah, for property owners as well. So basically, the way it would work out is the deadline to apply would be January 31st, 2023. And depending on how of your property, you could get either a $50 check or an $850 check. And that's just in Bradley, Illinois. So we're seeing a lot of these different types of programs. If you are in Bradley, Illinois, you have to apply for it to get this. So there's a lot of programs that are constantly going out, and some of them you have to take action on in order to take advantage of it, which is why I want to share all these types of programs with you. If you like that, subscribe to the channel so I can let you know the latest stimulus programs that may be in your area as well. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Belle. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you the one thing that you should do. When a flower's already dead, don't water the dead flower. That means that when you have a friend and they don't want to be in your relationship, then find a new friend. I know it's hard, but you have to. Then you'll learn from them. So I got a friend, and they didn't want to be with me. So I couldn't help it, but I had to find a new friend better. So I did. So that's all I wanted to tell you for today. Bye, Isabella.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your time and support in watching the channel. So today is my daughter's Bella's last day of wakeboard camp. So we're gonna go there, gonna see some, watch her do the wakeboarding, and maybe tomorrow I could share some video clips with you. If I'm able to get some good clips there. But hopefully you have a great rest of your day. If you want to check out any of my other videos on my other channels, you can click right up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.